Let's get some more analysis. We can speak now to Frederick T. Davis, who's a lecturer in law at Columbia University and a former federal prosecutor and also a member of the bars of New York and Paris. Thank you very much indeed for joining us once again here on France 24. As the dust settles, it's been about 24 hours now, and people digest the outcome of yesterday's proceedings. How are these revelations affecting public opinion on Donald Trump, would you say?
Well, it's hard to say. I'm more a lawyer than a political analyst. My own view is that it's not going to affect the 35 to 38 or 39% of the population who are going to vote for him no matter what. I think we're beginning to see sort of a Trump fatigue setting in with the additional people he needs to get to a majority. So I agree with what was said earlier. I think he's probably not going to change too much the impact on the primaries. I think he's going to be falling behind on the possibility of general election. And keep in mind, we're just at the beginning of this. There are at least 3 more investigations that are probably much more weighty and important that we're going to learn about in the next weeks or months. So he's got a long way to go between now and election time, and I think he's going to be spending a lot of it in court.
And in terms of understanding the legalities of exactly what Trump's been accused of, I mean, I'm not a lawyer, you are, so let me put this to you. I mean, the cover-up worse than the crime. Does that sort of roughly sum up last night's legal proceedings, do you think?
Yeah, sort of. I think the whole thing's been overanalyzed. It's a pretty straightforward case, and I think it's simple to understand and simple to prove. Namely, he was aware of 2 or 3 people who were capable of saying things about him that would hurt him right before the election. So he paid them a lot of money to get them to keep their silence. And then he knew that if he properly accounted for that, then it would become public. So what did he do? He lied. He filled out any number of false statements to cover up the fact that he'd made these payments, and that's just a pretty straightforward crime.
I mean, this is all quite damaging, isn't it, potentially for the international standing of the United States? I mean, we've got the presidential elections, 18 months or so away from now. I mean, it really looks like an election that's heading into really uncharted territory, doesn't it?
Well, that's certainly true. I mean, my views about Trump probably are fairly obvious, but I think we've been having a standing in the world issue for 6 or 8 years now. This is not particularly new. I do think it's getting worse and worse. I think the guys are getting more and more unhinged. And I sincerely believe that the accumulation of these various investigations on the criminal side are serious. I think he's going to be really facing some very serious charges against him.
OK, I'm afraid we're out of time. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, though, Frederick T. Davis, lecturer in law at Columbia University. Thank you.